been an interesting time. And so I had I don't know if Harvetta is going to be on here today or not, but she did a session on me the other day, and we had down there, and I didn't realize that I didn't remember or something. I don't know, something, So anyway, when she came up on the schedule and she goes, "Well, I thought I was doing a session on you," and I'm going, "Woohoo! Yes, that's awesome! Somebody gets to do a session on me." And so she did a session, and of course we got to the end where we had some despair statements, and she says, "Tom, you got to quit saying those things." And I'm a little frustrated about this financial thing, and I feel like I'm stuck and all these things. You got to stop saying that. You got to stop saying that. And I thought, oh, you know what? We're going to work on despair statements. So because it doesn't matter who you are, sometimes you just get worn down,
Yeah.
and despair statements really help to make a difference. So that's kind of why we focused on this. And folks, we're going to do once a month, which I wish we were doing them more, but it's just that we have so many classes out there already. There's over 90 classes just from the mastermind.
Right.
And it's kind of overwhelming, but I don't want to lose contact, because we are getting ready to ramp up.
Yeah.
As soon as we get some stuff happening, and I just want to make sure that we have everybody where we need them to be. Okay, so let's get rid of that so it doesn't happen. There we go. So anyway, so here we are. Welcome, welcome. New year. Woo-hoo. It's going
And
to be
it's
great,
the end
right?
of January already.
I
Gee.
know. Absolutely nuts. So anyway, that's where we are at. And anything else that comes up, we're going to go ahead and address it. But I know we've done despair statements before, but sometimes we need to, I think, reevaluate where we are on a personal basis. And I want to make sure that those of you who have the program are using these despair statement programs for yourself, to eliminate, because they are definitely in there. And like I said, I mean, I put that chart together originally, and here I am. This is me. I noticed it lately, and I think that it has affected my ability to attract what I need into my life.
Tom, have you done a lot of updating on that chart? Because that's a pretty old chart.
Well, periodically,
I'm only asking because I know that you have despair statements within yourself. You've talked about it. So I
Mhm.
thought maybe as you're having people do sessions on you, maybe you've done some updating because of yourself.
I haven't actually done that on myself. I've added a few things um, that I think are relevant. Most of the time, it's in there. When I'm doing a despair statement, I had somebody the other day just contact me who just wanted to work on despair statements. That was her whole focus. And we ended up doing 3 batches of despair statements. Now, she had topics that she was looking at, and I guarantee it's not out because I put them all away. So I don't remember who that was. Otherwise, I'd bring up that chart. But it's pretty straightforward. There was some things we needed to do first, and like I had a first timer today who who's read the book, The Emotion Code, the white one by Dr. Nelson, and she lives like 15 minutes away from me. Which is always a shocker too when you have somebody that lives close by, and I talked her into doing a Zoom session, because I said this way we can record it, you can look at it again. And earlier this week, I had somebody else, and they had, well, I want to do it in person, and I'm like, well, it's been 4 years since I've done somebody. Well, not necessarily. I got one lady that came in, but most of the time it's online, and so I was sending her the password for Zoom, and she goes, "Well, I'm here," and I'm going, "Oh, okay." And I go out there and look out there. She's not there. I said, where are you? And it's apparently my old house, that apparently somewhere there's an address that she went to my old house. Well, fortunately, it's only like 10 minutes away from where we are here. But, if she'd have gone to the Texas house, that would have been sucky for
Yeah, that would have been bad.
her. So she drove over an hour to get here.
Oh, jeez.
And that's, and now, and if we do it again, if we have another session, then, we're going to do it online. But this other lady today, I mean, shoot, she was like 15 minutes away, and it was, it was interesting to have that first session. And we did not get to her heart wall, which is what she thought she was going to be doing because she just read the emotion code book. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. I appreciate you all being here, and we're going to go ahead and get started as far as despair statements. Now, everybody, I don't think Bozanka and I don't think Carlene, you don't have one either where you don't have the despair statement charts. Now, we have done another class where we did have that, and I will attach them. So even if it's the only chart you got the 2 pages of despair statements, okay? So we're going to go ahead and do that.
Where are you going to attach it?
What was that, Bozanka?
Where are you going to attach it, you said?
I'll attach it to the recording. How's that? Is that okay?
Okay, are you, I forgot, are you sending out the recordings, or do we have to find it on the website?
You're gonna go to healersresource.com, and then you probably haven't seen this one, so you're probably, and it's a new season. You're gonna have to go out there and download season 11.
Okay.
Okay, that's where this one will be. Now, what I can do is I can go and look and find out where that other one is, because I'm pretty sure I left them out there on that one also. One moment. Well, anyway, let's just go into this one. We'll just go into it. And for anybody who's not fully aware, what I find with despair statements is they are things that are not necessarily true. In fact, most of them aren't true. But yet your subconscious at some point picked up, either you said it to yourself or you heard somebody say it to you. And they are little snippets that are low frequency, but they hang out, okay? Because your body can't use the energy, so it hangs out. And then as your body gets ready, remember your subconscious's job, keep you breathing, right? Keep you moving. So it might go out there and say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and employ this because I'm concerned about this, and it builds a program out of statements. Now, I know that Dr. Nelson originally, they just look for one thing. They're not looking for a program. When I do my despair statements, I know that I'm going to get a bunch of them. And that's pretty much where that comes from. I was surprised at how many things pop up, when you're working on this, and as far as despair statements. And in fact, let me just see if I can find this person real quick. You guys have all seen that before. And then we're going to bring this down here, and I'm just going to chop off the top. How's that? Can you see that?
No. Now, yeah, well, this is somebody's call sheet.
Correct. That's what you're looking at. You guys see it?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yes.
I mean, she literally requested despair statements. And this is a younger woman who is 29. She's a student, and she's a foreign student. And she's not here in the United States. She's in Germany. But she knew that she needed to have these despair statements. And so first thing that popped up in this particular deal was the request for protection of some kind. And so that was more important than the despair statements. And there wasn't very much of it. We did 6 different items, and then we were able to do it. And then we went for the despair statements. Now, this is the way I do them, just so people are aware, because I know that there's more than one. Rarely have I ever just gotten one despair statement, which is a limiting belief, right? So on this one here, we had the first group was 8 different statements. Now, as I'm using my charts, let me just bring my charts up real quick here. And slide this over. I know they're too small for you to see here, but let me see if I can go and current slide. We're going to go ahead. There we go. Now they're probably still too small, correct?
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
so
see if I can blow it up.
I'm going to blow it up here too. How's that?
Okay.
So we'll just go like this, and we'll just look at maybe part of them at a time. How's that? Can you see
Okay.
those?
Oh, that's much better.
Okay.
Yes, better.
So there's over 300 of these different despair statements, and on post-hypnotic suggestions, I put them both on there, that you can look at to help you find out what's going on. What's the subconscious trying to tell us? And I put them down in our situation here. We had, remember we were, let's look at this one here. There we go. So in this situation, we had 8 different things. So I just put despair statements, and on the chart, if you're using Dr. Nelson's charts, it may say despair anchors, because he's looking at one item.
Yes, it
And
does.
in mine, I put statements because there's multiples. So I go through it and I find them all. So I literally go onto my charts and I go, oops, what did I do here? Well, it doesn't matter. I say, is it on the left side? It's on the right side. And they have 2 pages on this. And then that's where I pop into, I see what's on here. I let my body, test. I'm connected to them. Their subconscious is picking it. So the first one is, I'm too sick. Now, I always like to find out, okay, so is this like in a particular level? And this one was, yes, it's a spiritual level. Does this make sense so far, the way I'm explaining this?
Yes.
Okay. So, and then the next one, I go, I owe everybody. Next one is, I'm trapped. And there's a dash here, but it says by her family. And then it says, I'm just a little fish in the world. I'm an outcast. Nothing works out for me. It's out of my control. I can't live with myself. And that's the last one of those 8. So that's the program. So if you read I get them, each one of them, and then I get down to the bottom and I go, okay, so here's your program. And I always test, are any of these true? And the answer almost always is no. Now, periodically, we'll have one that used to be true, or that it has concern about. But this one, the program reads, I'm too sick on spiritual level. I owe everybody. I'm trapped by my family. I'm just a little fish in the world. I'm an outcast. Nothing works out for me, and it's out of my control. And I can't live with myself. So that's the program that she's running right there. I can hear you, Linda. Are you reading them, or?
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I wasn't muted.
Yeah, no problem. So anyway, that's the first one. So what I do is then I ask, can I release these? And in this situation, you'll notice that they all stayed in that first box. So I was able to release this whole group. I do it all at once. Now I like to put a little deal over here, and I put a D8, which is despair 8s. The reason I do that is because I want to know how many are in it. And you'll notice that I consider them all to be equal. So once we released that, I said, do you have another despair statement? And it said, yes. And there's 6 of them in this one. So I'm literally counting a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I go down here and I set it up. Now I like to put the little dashes there so I know how many I'm going to be filling in. And then I put the little ampersand thing here, and then D6. Now this one says, I'm all alone. I'm incapable. I don't know how, and I'm going to hell. I can't understand this. Who would want me on their team? So that's the program. Now it's not as legible, or not, in other words, it doesn't go fit as easily, but you can still get the idea. This is what's going through her head. So I'm all alone. I'm incapable. I don't know how, and I'm going to hell. That could be 2 different things. One could be, and it ran into this yesterday when I had somebody who, I think they were Catholic also, and something happened in church when they're little. Like a lot of times parents will force you to go for a certain amount of time. She was forced to go to church until she was 18, and then she could choose. Well, something obviously happened at church. If you're a little kid, then a lot of times, you hear things and you go, well, I'm not living the way that pastor said, and I must be going to hell. Now, the other one is, it's just like what we can all relate to as our bodies get older. My body's going to hell if nothing's working on it. You know, that could be another version of that going to hell thing. That make sense? Okay, I see some nods, which is good. So the next one we had, and we had 3 of these here. The last one was 5 statements. Who would want me on their team? That sounds familiar, doesn't it? And money is evil. I don't deserve forgiveness. And now I did in this one, I sourced this one. She was 3 years old. Somebody probably told her she didn't deserve to be forgiven. And that's what stuck. I don't receive respect and money is hard to make. So this program reads, who would want me on their team? Money is evil and I don't deserve forgiveness. I don't receive respect and money is hard to make. Now, all kinds of things can come out on this. Like I said, we've got over 300 items on this particular 2 pages. And some of them are weird. And, you know, you can tell they're my programs because, like, I think I'll go eat worms. You know, there's some stuff in here that is, you can, like I said, this is not the way most people would put it down here. Like, I'll always be fat and overweight. And in fact, I added another one in on that one, or ugly. I find that I'll always be ugly. And then there's a couple other ones down here at the bottom. I leave it a blanks down here. And I did fill some in here. And this first one was, I associate with the wrong people. And then in this next one, I put relationships are evil and I can't protect myself. And then this one here, I put in, I'm being conned. And then we had this one over here for a long time, and it's oh, I guess I wrote it down here at the bottom. It says, I'm an imposter. I'm an imposter. And then I just added a new one here. Not at your level. I don't understand. Lack of personality, lack of stability. I had some other great ones that popped in here, but I don't see them on here. So when I get something new, I just write it in. Now, when we redo everything, we'll go back in and add everything we can find so that, you know, you can print out new charts and stuff. But I know that this is enough to be able to do what you need to do in most cases. Would you guys not agree?
I agree.
Yeah. So questions on this?
Tom?
Yeah.
I'm just curious, as I was listening to you describe this young lady, I'm wondering, does she live at home with her parents? So she's out on her own.
Yeah, she's actually from Georgia, which is, you know, not Georgia State, but Georgia country.
Georgia and Germany, yeah.
Well, she's up in Georgia, up near Ukraine.
Yeah, the reason
she's in Germany, yeah.
The reason I asked is because my intuition is saying somehow she's being controlled, either by religion, by her parents, and, you know, growing up in that kind of an environment. This sounds very familiar to me for someone who's like in her early 20s. It doesn't surprise me at all.
She's 29.
Oh, she's older. I thought you said 29. She was in college, right?
Well, she's in university. Well, yeah, you know, the same thing. So she's there. I can't remember what she's looking to do, but but yeah, right now she's trapped family. So she's out of the country on her own, and she's, you know, her parents have sacrificed for her to be there.
Right.
And so she feels like, and look at that set of statements. I'm too sick on a spiritual level. I owe everybody. So that's financially, you know, all the sacrifices everybody's done. I'm trapped by my family. I'm just a little fish in the world. I mean, who am I? I'm unimportant. I'm an outcast. Nothing works for me. It's out of my control. I can't even live with myself. Now, I did not on this one. A lot of times what I'll do is I will source them just like I did up here. Or down here, you know, where it says, I don't deserve forgiveness. We found out she was 3. in that one there. Now, one of the things I've noticed with despair statements, these end up being the actual reasons why you're dealing with things, because you're dealing with this false programming that your body's dealing with, and that kind of explains a little bit there. Let me see here. Let me see if I've got another one here. Oh, I'll just preview it. What do we got?
I have a question, Tom.
Sure, ask away.
Tell me about this, her academics. Did she say she was doing well academically, or did she say?
She does pretty good, but she's by herself. You got to remember
Okay.
that. So she's from another country. She's in a country that does not speak her native language, although she speaks really good English. And she's getting along. She's a very young looking 29. Now, if you ever look at those East Bloc countries, their women don't age as quickly as they would like in Germany. Germany, you look at a 16-year-old, you'd swear she was 20 some years old. Okay, they got the makeup, they got the body pushes, and all that kind of stuff like that. Now, this particular person, she's very simplistic as far as she's not like, doesn't have to worry about, I mean, she's young. She really is young, but she's a young 29. Can I say it that way? Does that make sense? So it'd be like pulling the girl off the farm to come into the city.
Got it.
In a way. She's very smart. Now she's going into biology. She's a smart girl, smart cookie, but she still has to deal with these things that everybody else is dealing with. Now I was just looking here to see if I've got another one.
I was just going to say, Tom, that answers a lot of questions for me, because she doesn't sound like she's socially been educated or exposed socially,
Yeah.
especially if she's studying biology. So think about that.
Yeah. She's
book smart, but she's not been exposed to society, and probably doesn't have a boyfriend or dated very little.
You're right.
I can just picture her in my mind.
Yeah. And for her, that's her situation there. Let me see if I got another one here that that was no despair statements in that one. Let's go to the next.
And the reason why I asked about the academics is because that's what I do, academic coaching at a university. Perfect timing for a topic tonight, Tom, because the focus is always on the student that's not achieving well versus the student that is achieving well.
I was really, when I was growing up, and when I went to college, I followed my girlfriend's brother, who said, "Hey, you come here, I'll set you up, we'll have a good," and my girlfriend and I had broken up. So I'm listening to him, and I go there, and then he doesn't show. And I'm there by myself in another state, all by myself. I knew nobody. And, and I didn't graduate. My first year, I served a mission for my church. So my first year I was out there, and I didn't understand how to do things. My parents, I'm the oldest of their kids. So they let me go, and thinking that they're doing the best thing. And I did really, really bad. I didn't go to classes. I didn't do a lot of things. And so when I went on my mission, you're gone for 2 years, then you come back, and they wouldn't let me go anywhere else until I went back to that school and fixed my grades.
Oh.
So I had to go back, and I didn't graduate. I ended up getting married, went to another school and didn't stay there. And I got hired away by a company and all these things. So I never got my degree. And all my life I was fighting this thing of, I'm not good enough. I don't have a degree. I couldn't work for Microsoft, even though I was doing computer programming. I didn't have a degree, so they wouldn't hire me.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff for years and years. And I felt, I got 4 kids now. I can't go back to school. I had a crap load of despair statements. And so when I first started doing this, I just kept releasing and releasing and releasing. And, and then I went back to culinary school. And here it is. I'm in my 40s now, and I'm in culinary school, and of course I aced almost everything because I had a reason to make it work. And still it was always a matter of not feeling like I was good enough. And then I had these things that happened to me in my life. I lost my restaurant to bankruptcy. I went through a divorce. I went through another bankruptcy in my first marriage. There was just kinds of things that happened. And I'm just like, why is this happening? And this is the stuff that was in the way.
Got it.
Because I had these programs running in there. So I got another one here. This is another newbie. Looks like this was my second session because I didn't write first session on it. I'll just do it up here so you don't see the name necessarily, but you can see what's going on. And see, one of the reasons I like this is because I put this little ampersand here when I run into despair statements, because that helps me easily go and pick that part out when I'm looking at their chart again. That's my way that I like to do it. And I run these charts just like you would with an outline. So everything that goes indented here means that this is under this one. This was a psychic trauma. It had 6 items in this. I had pride, anxiety, effort unreceived, heartache, effort unreceived, and an effort unreceived. Gee, do you think it's trying to make a point? So there was 3 different effort unreceived in that psychic trauma. But you get down here, we suddenly had a despair statement. Now, the thing that we're working with here, trouble with self. And then it was mainly mom issues. And she was adopted. So we're dealing with 2 different moms. So one mom is her biological mom, who really didn't come into play here, except for when she inherited this memory that she inherited through her mother to her grandfather. And this was a German. Now, her one side of her was German. So down here, we got something else going on. And remember, this is all about mommy issues. So we got down here, nothing works out for me. And this one, you see this, I can tell this is the first time we did it because I sourced this for her. Now she is 61. So at age 45, nothing works out for me. I'm exploited at age 35. I'm an outcast at age 15. I'm out of my, it's out of my control at age 35. I'm just a little fish in the world. That started at age 5. And then I'm not smart enough at age 4. So you can see where some of these little bits and pieces were transferred in, and it gave the subconscious a reason to do this. Well, because I'm not smart enough, even though that was at age 4, I'm just a little fish in this world. I'm not really important. That's at age 5. Now, I can't remember, I don't have her file out here, but I can't remember when she was adopted. Because that can make a big difference. And then you find out that her adoptive mother really didn't like her. And so that's why this has always been an issue for her. Even though the adopted mother had passed away, she was still dealing with a lot of these issues. Does that make sense? You guys ever run into the same type of stuff? Yeah, I know that Marsha's probably nodding her head too. I can't see her right now. So anyway, that's this one. Then, is this helpful to see this stuff, guys? I'm seeing some yeses. Okay, good. So let's go down here. I'm curious on mine. Let's see what that is. Let's see if it shows up first. It's going to take a little longer because it's a PDF file. We'll see if it shows up. In the meantime, let's go check this other one out here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, it's not responding. All right. I don't see any despair state. They come up so frequently. That's the thing that always blows me away. Uh-oh, file can't be found. Oh, wait a sec. Okay, hang on. Come on. Huh. Well, that's strange. My computer's been a little slow in responding, so I apologize. Let's go down here and check this out. We have any for her? Yeah, no, we don't on that one. Let's get rid of that one. Okay. I don't see that one. Let's get rid of that then. Okay, so let's see. And a lot of these are clients that I've been working with for a long time. And once you've started clearing those out, they don't seem to always come back, but man, I'll tell you. I had a client this last week, she was just in tears. And it had been 6 months since we'd seen each other. Okay, so here's another one. First sessions, which you're going to see a lot of this stuff show up on first sessions. Oops, there we go. So this one, we didn't know what we were working on. We worked on needs. And so down here, we are looking at despair statements. There was 9 of these. No will to be controlled times 6 by mom. So it looks like we got mommy issues going on again here. So you're going down here, no will to be trespassed, no will to sacrifice times 10. This person is 68 years old, 2 kids, grandkids. And here's her despair statements times 9. No one is good enough. I'm an outcast. I'm damaged goods. I'm worthless. I'm going to hell. I'm weak and pathetic. I'm contagious. Stay away. I'm all alone. I'm always the fall guy. Now, this is a person. Oh, this is the one that showed up at my office. Okay, so this one here, she doesn't like herself and she doesn't love herself. And usually when I'm working with somebody, I can feel that out there. But if you think about this, it's a false belief system. But I'm an outcast. I'm damaged goods. I'm worthless. I'm going to hell. Notice the time frame on that. I'm going to hell. She was 10 years old.
Wow.
Okay. Now I mark it down here. Are you Christian, Jewish, Muslim, spiritual, whatever? If I put JC down there, that tells me she's Christian. She's okay with me using Jesus Christ.
Right.
So in this one here, I'm going to hell. I'm weak and pathetic. I'm contagious. Stay away. I'm all alone. I'm always the fall guy. How's that for a wonderful program that's running in the background? So that was a huge thing for us to be able. Now, no one is good enough. That can come across as a couple different ways. And just like regular emotions have different definitions. This one to me has a couple of definitions. The first one is no one is good enough. Well, that means nobody else can do it. I'm going to have to do it if I need to get it done.
Right.
That's one. The second one is my name is Sleeping Beauty, and I'm stuck in this case with thorns around me, and no one's good enough to break through to save me. And that's usually the one that we're dealing with. Is you feel like, no, it's too late for me. I'm just, no one can save me. In fact, that's another one that shows up a lot is time is not my friend, or it's too late for me.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, this was down here. And then always being pegged. Now she's divorced. She's been divorced for 20 years. And one of the issues that showed up here also was that those of us who've been through the divorce situation before, or you're single or whatever, a lot of times we look at getting married again. But if I do that, what if I marry another narcissist? What if I have to, and if you're older, now this woman's 68 years old, she knows how to get around. She's made it through her life. And then if I bring somebody else in, I'm going to have to compromise. I don't know if I'm willing to compromise. And these are different reasons that people have because it was such a bad experience before. This young lady I worked with today, she is much younger. Let me bring her up here quick. She's 37. And she was married the first time around to a very narcissistic guy. And she was happy to get away. She's remarried again. They've been married now She's got a boy that's 13. That's from the first one. So she's been divorced since 2013. And so a lot of times when you're younger, you can get away, you're willing to take a chance because you haven't set everything in your certain ways of doing things. But when you get older, there's some real concerns. They want to find love, but it's conditional. And that's where these things come in there. And that's why if we root these crappy things out here, no one is good enough, I'm an outcast, I'm damaged goods, I'm worthless, I'm going to hell, I'm weak and pathetic, I'm contagious, stay away, I'm all alone, I'm always the fall guy. Do you think she's going to get into a relationship?
No, no, no.
And you sit there and you look at that. So I love despair statements. I really love seeing them come out because it tells us what your brain's thinking when in reality, they're not true. And then a lot of times what I'll do is I'll bring these up. Remember, I've talked about hedging before. Hedging is to keep you from even getting close to breaking the law. So instead, if you got a 50-mile-an-hour road here, well, your car, it's got a governor underneath it, and those governors keep you from pushing down too hard on the gas pedal. So you can't go past 45 miles an hour. Well, you're not going to break the law, right? You're going to be right in there. But you put the pedal in there, the governor, so that says you can't go any faster than this. And so that's kind of what a despair statement does, is it says, okay, stay away from this stuff because it might be dangerous. That type of thing. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see what else we got here.
I see a lot of these despair on these three women. Most of them are fear-based. They're just, I don't know how they're living their life being full of this fear. I don't even see women like this even wanting to date because they don't, it's way beyond I'm not good enough. They're just beating themselves up every day.
Well, and you're right. And that's exactly right. This program is running. It's active.
I know. This is what's so sad about it.
And because it's active, it's reality.
Right.
So that's one of the big reasons to try and get these out of here.
Oh, exactly.
Okay, so I got another one here. And that's the one thing. It's easy to find these because there's just so many. Now, I don't remember what this one is. Children under attack. This is I did this back on the 19th. Hasn't been that long ago. This person's 43. They got 4 kids and grandkids. 1 grandchild, I think is what it is. I don't worry about that. I just worry about the fact that if there's any grandkids, otherwise I got 25 grandkids. I'm not going to sort through to see who's being affected and who's not. I do a blanket statement. Please remove them from everybody involved. So
right.
That's why I just simply put grandkids. I put 4 plus G. And if they have great grandkids, plus GG. That way I know that I'm going to clear it from everybody who's involved. So this person here, we're doing a business clearing, and it had been a while since we had talked. Oh, in fact, this one was a couple years old. I had to go to my archives to pull her out. And it says, I'm having problems here, so let's see what we can do. So you'll notice that here's what I was talking about, the graduating, because I couldn't release any of these things. And I got all the way down to here, and I was able to release these 3, 4, 5, but there was still a misalignment of the liver, I think. Or no, maybe it was, I couldn't relieve no will to support others. And so that made me come down here and put another little batch here. And this one was despair statements. Once again, you're going to find that there are some that show up over and over and over and over. And this one is, I'm an outcast. I can't stand this. I'm not good enough. Murphy's Law always means me, which is anything bad that can happen is going to happen. And then the last one, it's dangerous to be me. So this was for her business. And you'll notice up here it says, no will to be controlled was the first thing that we were working on. We had to clear all of this stuff out of here before we could get rid of that one. So here's a pathogen, mold, spiritual level, and it was about lack of control. We got a misalignment, respiration system, respiratory system per trachea. There's a misalignment, there's pressure. So what's the pressure? Well, we have a mental no will to support others. Usually that shows up, it's either respect others or support others, is when you didn't receive any support yourself. So you're kind of like, say, screw you all. And then the next one is, here it is, an addictive heart energy of an unhealthy drive. And then we got another one. Here's an emotion. It's called frozen. She's stuck. And inside of that is a pathogen. It's bacterial. Another energy addictive heart energy. And then no will to be embarrassed. And we finally got that one done so we could get rid of this addictive heart energy, the pathogen, the frozen, the addictive heart energy again, and we'll put us up here underneath the the liver being misaligned, and that's when this other one came in. Now, when we got rid of this, we were able to back up all through this. So everything, and this is the point I want to make, these despair statements were the end all of all this stuff that I couldn't release. So it was something that's not even, it's a false belief system that's keeping these other things from going away. So, and then we get down here, look at this. Still business clearing. The emotion was fury times 6. Recreational drug of limitations. We had a root canal issue on an emotional level that needed to be taken care of. Self-loathing times 12.
Wow.
And emotional resonance of shame inherited from her great-grandfather. That's an F. Okay, so father, mother, father, plus all. And then we had some hidden stuff, which was this fluoride. Now, did this person like herself? No. Did she love herself? No. Okay, you look at that. Fury, self-loathing times 12. Okay, so you can see, but that's the big thing, is that this despair statements here, it's what was in the way for all this other stuff.
So do you know what kind of business she has, Tom?
I could probably look it up.
I mean, is it a service-based business or does she have people reporting
No.
to her? That's what I was curious.
I'm not sure. Let me look real quick here. I don't know if I wrote it up here or not.
That's okay. It's not I just was just thinking, I can't imagine if people are trying to work for this woman and she's so negative about herself, self-loathing, and just, I can't imagine, a boss feeling this way about herself and working with her every day.
Well, I can't tell you that she's even working.
Oh, I just assumed she was working because you said this was a business clearing.
Well, because it's an old folder, I didn't have all the notes on that one. So apparently I didn't ask her what her business is now.
So you don't know if she's still working?
Is she working right now? She says she is. I mean, I'm testing that she is. She is working. She has people working under her. No, I think she's got a private business, like a side hustle thing.
Okay.
Is my guess on that. But isn't that interesting and revealing how this stuff here was in the way of this?
Right.
Okay, so let's look here. She has none. Okay, so she's not a candidate for that. Let's see. Let's see if she's got any. Taking longer for my computer.
Tom, I'm sensing that you need to check your memory.
Oh, definitely. That's on my list for things for people to do. Yeah.
That's why your system's so slow, because I just recently had that problem again.
You're talking about on my computer or in my brain? It's in my brain too, so I have that issue there too. There's just a lot of stuff going on, and I had to, let me check this one here. Yeah, okay. So this one is somebody writing memoirs. They had 5 statements. I'm not enough. I can't live with myself. I'm damaged goods. People want to hurt me, and I have nowhere to go. You can kind of see what's going on a lot of times when you read these things, because that's what's going on in their head. Let's see what else we got. That's another one of that one. And she usually has some pretty good ones. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So in this situation, we are working with, where's number one? No, wait a sec. Where is one? Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Okay, so let's look here. Number one. Oh, here it is. I think I wrote that. Yeah, that's that one right there. Okay. So cuticles, that's where it is. Her cuticles, she's bitten them away
Ugh.
through the years. This is a 48-year-old woman. And she's been through some very trying times. Oh my gosh. She's doing pretty good. She's actually doing really, really well now. But there was some times, and you look at this one here. Okay, so the cuticles even 9 statements. Karma won't let me. I'm damaged goods. I can't do this. I'm always the fall guy. Time is not my friend. I'm just a little fish in the world. I don't know anything. I can't be trusted. Everything is scary. And even under that, we had a barrier about her nails, apparently. So this situation here, if I remember correctly, she's 48. She's in a relationship right now. She just went through a divorce not too long ago. And then she finds out that the guy she was married to was married before and was not divorced. And it was huge deception. We talked about that today. Actually, I had a session with her today, and I said, do you imagine having to find all this stuff out before you found your current relationship and cleared this stuff out? She goes, I'd be a basket case. I would probably, who knows what I would have done. But you look at this, and then she's got her mom who's on her now, now she's in a good relationship. She's happy. She's saying, I think you should have a child. She's 48. And she's saying, no, I'm not sure that I want to do that. I missed that opportunity. And her mother's like, well, you could still do it. And she's going, back off, mom, basically. So anyway, here's some of the spare statements. This is the cuticle still. Let's go down here to this other one here. That one was when we were working with the UK. That was a visa issue. My life is a waste. Everybody leaves me. I'm going to hell. I'm contagious. Stay away. I'm damaged goods. I'm always the fall guy. I can't find peace. Murphy's Law always means me. I can't handle it all. I'm just a little fish in the world. A lot of negativities in there.
Right.
So here's the situation. When she first came to me, she had just gone, she hasn't through the, well, I don't know if she was in the process of the divorce. So her husband, she's married, she's having they're fine. All of a sudden he goes home to visit the family and he doesn't come back. He just flat out abandons her. And she's just trying to deal with this because, periodically he'll respond to a text message, but he's not coming back. And that's where just this last week she found out he's married to somebody else because the woman contacted her and said, did you guys get a divorce? And she's like, where the heck is this coming from? I said, that just sounds like a woman scorned or spurned or whatever you want to say. Anyway, and it turns out that he had married this other woman through some religious thing which qualified. They had a child, and then he meets her, or she meets him, and they get married. And so now he's married twice. He's a bigamist. And then when he goes back, he didn't go back to where he said he was going. He went back to this other woman and disappeared. So you can imagine some of the things that are coming up in here.
And how many years is that, Tom, that he married your client and then this other woman was in the wings?
She didn't know anything about my client, the other woman, until she started finding things out. And of course, now this client that I've got here, she started doing Facebook searches and stuff and
Right.
found out
Investigating,
a whole
yeah.
bunch of stuff. There's pictures with him and his other wife and with the child, and I'm thinking, wow, You know, that's a gutsy guy to go and do stupid things like that.
Yeah.
Fortunately, my client now has a very great guy, and yet even that relationship's got some screwy stuff in it.
I hope
But
she got divorced.
she did. She got divorced, and she's available. It's just crazy stuff. I'll tell you, there's so many crazy relationships out there in the world.
Yes, there are.
Questions, folks. What do you got? Any questions or comments on this stuff here? You imagine this is negative stuff. You need to get rid of that.
Tom, I have to tell you, after tonight, I'm feeling a whole lot better about my life.
Yeah, that's very true, you know.
I'm feeling a whole lot better.
Yeah, people, I can let you know about all kinds of screwy stuff that's out
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
And I could probably show you charts from myself that would be just as screwy. So
Yeah, there's a lot of messed up people out there.
there really is.
But, to be fair, a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people have been through a lot of tragedy and a lot of disappointment and
Big time.
betrayal, and
Well, do you want to see another
they
one?
haven't been able to bounce back from it.
Yeah, do you want to see another one?
Sure.
Okay, so I don't want to bore y'all. So this
Well,
is
that last one was a doozy, so
that's a doozy. And I have to tell you that she's doing fantastic.
good.
She's
Good.
really doing fantastic. So this other one here is this a young lady, 30 years old. Here's a crazy situation. All of these kids, this is a lady who keeps referring me, and she's fantastic. She claims that I saved her life, and I'm going, I didn't even remember the situation. She had cancer years ago, and apparently that helped get her over it. And so she sends all these people to me. Buffalo, New York, man, I got a whole following in that whole
Wow.
area right there.
Well,
So this is the daughter of that person who has been kind of on her own, and this is leave me alone, mom. But all of her kids still live with her. She's 30, and she's the youngest.
and how many kids?
She's got two. They all live at home.
They're all there in
Not a
Buffalo.
relationship, and so that's one of the reasons why we were working on relationships, romantic, and
Right,
of course blocks with mom.
right.
So we're working on romantic stuff. Here it is. No will to be good enough times 5. No will to be good enough again. Now, the reason it comes up again is because it's a different definition. So all 5 of these were vibrating at the same frequency.
Uh-huh.
So we were able to release those. And another one here, metabolic waste times 3. No will to matter times 6. This is a girl that mom really wanted me to work with her because she's concerned, and of course this young lady was strong enough to be able to come. Attracting times 5, addictive heart energies times 5, attracting inappropriate conflict. Now I could see where if you crossed her, she would fight you. She's a feisty little girl, the way I like them, feisty. And then we got a drug of choice is self-sabotage, free radicals, artificial love, things that are beyond your control. You see a pattern here?
Yes.
Notice that these are all, just tick them off one after the other. And then we had a respiratory problem with both sides, the malfunctioning, the bronchioles. And then we had the reason that was a misalignment. You notice that's what we were dealing with. And then we dove into these things here. So misalignment, the ileocecal valve malfunction. It always blows them away when I tell them, that heartburn you've been having, how did you know? Or acid reflux. And I said, it's because your ileocecal valve's not happy. It's malfunctioning. In fact, it's tied into abandonment. That was the emotion, times 5. So obviously, and their dad is not in the picture. So it's been mom raising these 3 kids. And of course, mom goes through different things, little boyfriends and everything else. And then we got an intolerance to laws times 4. And I'm going, okay, this is my feisty girl here who's doesn't like to be told what to do. Pituitary gland malfunction, excessive free radicals times 3. Pituitary, she's had high blood pressure, is malfunctioning. And then we get to the despair statement. Same thing as I told you before. This issue up here, this is the real reason, these despair statements. Because it's a program saying, I don't belong here. I'm always the fall guy. I can't stand this. I'm just a little fish in the world and I'm going to hell. I don't have control. So this is a 30-year-old young lady who just feels like she can't do anything because she's stuck.
Hmm.
Okay. And that's what we were working on this particular deal here. It's amazing, folks. You can look at somebody and say, oh, they're normal. What's normal?
Yeah,
You know,
define normal.
define normal, because there's a lot of normal people out there that are like you were saying before, Linda. Now you feel better about yourself
Right.
because of what you've been able to accomplish.
Yeah, and like you said, that these people, they've been living with all this negativity in their thoughts in their life for so long, that has become their new normal. They think it's normal to feel and think that way.
Yep.
And until somebody, a coach or a healer, somebody like yourself comes in and says, no, that's not normal. And let's go ahead and try to clear some of this mess out. And you know what? You may never find Mr. Right. You may never, your kids may never move out or whatever, but you're going to feel a whole lot better
Well, yeah,
about yourself.
and it allows other things to happen, because right
Right.
now, when you got this stuff in there, it's keeping you from being able to do that.
Exactly.
This is a great one here. I know that I said one more, but this is a good one. This lady, I am just got such high hopes for.
Okay.
She's really new, but she's having issues with being able to speak her truth.
Okay.
Okay. So she's just, when I first met her, I thought she was kind of like a little mousy girl that, wasn't going to say very much. The more I learn about this woman and the more we clean out, I'm going, she is kick butt good, at these things. I can't remember if she's one of the ones that actually has a doctorate in something, but you look at her, she can say, oh, she's a librarian. And she's got kids that are grown. She's got 2 grown kids. And in her situation here, we're finding that there's all kinds of stuff keeping her from voicing her will. And she actually is a member of Toastmasters.
Uh-huh.
So she's looking to learn how to do this. And I'm going, heck of a deal. She's learning how to do this. So, but she always had a headache. It was just like there was always something going on. And so we started working with energy stuck in the skull. And what's the first thing we go? This emphthoid bone behind the eyes on both sides, this pressure, it's malfunctioning. And then this frontal bone also, which is the forehead, is malfunctioning. The sphenoid bone, which is a single across there, is out of balance. And then we find out that these energies are in there. No will to respect others ×5 because nobody's respecting her. She's got a misalignment in her tongue. Now, how crazy is that? Her tongue
That's a new one.
is malfunctioning. And then underneath that is taken for granted, this is at work, a misalignment of the pelvis on the left ilium, the hip bone. And then she had inside of this was apathy. And then also a physical trauma. And then her drug of choice was running away. Okay, so, and then we got down here, we got a miasm, social, goes back 4 generations, great-great-grandfather, plus all. And inside of that was caused by heartache in relationships. And I'm going, that matches up. Okay, and then you notice this is all underneath these pressures up here. So we get down here, absorbed from a situation of physical trauma. We got a mental despair statements of 6. Okay, so notice again, these are at the end of this causing all this stuff. So we've got despair statements. Murphy's Law always means me. Anything bad that can happen is going to happen. Money is evil. Everybody leaves me. Now, this is a single woman. She's been divorced for quite a while. And here it is. Here's one of mine. I think I'll go eat worms. That means that it's that little poem that says, nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. I guess I'll go eat worms. So it's kind of, that's where that comes from. I put it in there as a joke, and I'm surprised how often that comes up. And then there's not enough, and I'm exploited. Now, I can see everything in that manifesting in her life. But is it true? No. And when we removed it, we were allowed to go and remove all of this other stuff. And we did have one other thing down here, which was heartache 16 years ago, which was, oh, that's nothing there. Okay. The memories, and that was working on this energy stuck in the skull, and then throat, tongue, and words. Look at that. So we were still working on her tongue. And we were able to remove this wall, this heart wall that she had built up again that was 10 inches thick. How fascinating. You know, you get into the lives of your people, and it is just so amazing to me to see what people deal with, you know, on a regular basis. So, questions? Carlene, I know you got something.
I don't think they know they're dealing with those things.
Well, they don't know, but it is. And that's what's keeping them. They're hidden.
And when I say that, I'm going back to the student situation because that was mind blowing for me because she's giving off all of the positive, all of the correct social expectations, but inside,
Yeah, you don't realize how much they're dealing with. And mom's not around. You know,
Yeah.
mom's in a whole different country with dad.
Yeah.
And they're all expecting you, who they have sacrificed so that you could be in college or university in another country. You know, she speaks like 3 different languages.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
and it's impressive to me that she's accomplished that. But I think she would probably also feel, you know, you get into Germany. I mean, I lived in Germany. Like I said, the 16-year-olds look like they're 21. You can get yourself into trouble real fast. And the thing is that she's comparing herself to them. She's not homely in any way, shape, or form, but she has that other thing, you know, where they've been innocent. They've been, you know, she's got that feel that is, you know, like you'd be concerned that somebody might try and take advantage of her.
Yeah, she's been sheltered most of her life.
Exactly. I asked her if she went home for Christmas, and she says, no, I went with a friend to Paris. I said, oh, you poor thing. You had to go to Paris? And so she had a good time there. But it's like, you know, and you got to remember, look at that East Bloc section there. Georgia's right there with Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's a lot of conflict going on in those 2 countries right now. And I can understand why she didn't go back.
Got it.
Don't know why rock the boat. What if you can't get out again?
Right.
So that's a big thing for those people.
Yeah. This was very good. Thank you. Because
I'm glad you all came on today. This is the reason. It was for you guys.
Thank you.
So, okay, well, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up, and I will try to get this out there on the it'll be in season 11 as quick as I can. And like I said, I'll try and give you some copies that you can work off of, okay?
That'd be great. Tom, do you have something lined up for next month?
No, what do you got for me,
Talk
Linda?
about? Well, I just wanted to run this by everybody here to see if there's an interest. I just recently did a presentation on, it's like a guide, and I've got a sheet here I created on spices and benefits of spices and how you can use them and that kind of thing. And it's a 2-pager, but I think there's enough talking points here that we could probably, I don't know, maybe like spend 20 minutes on it or something like that.
Well, why don't
Sounds
you go with
interesting.
Yeah, I called it the Guide to the Rainbow of Spices.
that? Perfect.
So if that's something that you're interested in, we can
Absolutely.
speak from this.
When I first was in culinary school, I put together it's a list of spices and what they're good for and things like that also.
Right.
I used to just give that away all the time, but you know, it helped me to know what spices would do. And then, of course, I don't have any of the energetic parts in there.
Right. But I use a lot of herbs and spices in my cooking. That's one of my differentiators to my clients that I have. So I just, as I did it and it was well received, I thought maybe some of you might be interested in it as well. So
I would
Yeah.
definitely be.
I think
Okay.
it sounds great.
Hey,
Okay.
Tamara, I didn't see you sneak in there until I went back to the other there. So recognize you. Looks like we lost Blazenka, but that's okay. I appreciate you all being here tonight.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Tamara, did you have any questions?
Is she there?
She's there. I see the top of her head. But she's on mute. So, well, that's okay. So we will have this stuff out there. And like I said, I'll get it out there as soon as I can, and then you guys can access it.
Okay, Tom, thanks so much.
You bet. We'll see you next month as far as this goes.
Okay,
I'll see
everybody,
you
everybody have a nice Valentine's.
Yeah, that's true. Bye-bye.